Have you spoken to Danny?
Danny was blindsided by Bill and Haley's affair.
Well, so much for stop by for a cup of coffee.
It warms my heart to see this beautiful family. I am so proud of every one of you.
Does my legacy ever feel like a burden?
It's a lot to live up to.
Now you need to remember who you are. A Dupree woman. Find your inner strength.
As the residents of Oak Haven traditionally gather for festive cheer and whispered New Year's resolutions, this holiday week on Beyond the Gates promises anything but peace. The fallout from recent revelations reaches its explosive peak, turning family dinners into battlefields and secret alliances into weapons of mass emotional destruction. At the center of the maelstrom, the seemingly invincible Bill Sterling, whose empire of influence is about to face its most devastating attack from within. Monday, December 22nd. The calm before the storm. The episode opens with a deceptive tranquility. Haley Sterling, still reeling from the cold confrontation with Bill where he prioritized his campaign over their family trauma, is attempting to muster holiday spirit for little Liam. She's decorating cookies, her smile strained but genuine for her son's sake. Meanwhile, Bill is in his home office, not poring over policy, but staring at a framed photo of a younger Vernon and himself. Is it regret, or strategy, flickering in his eyes? Vernon, however, is nowhere to be found. His absence is noted by an increasingly anxious Margot, Bill's fiercely loyal sister. She's been digging through old financial records at Sterling Trust, spurred by a cryptic comment from Elena about off-book investments. What she stumbles upon isn't just a ledger discrepancy. It's a coded series of transfers to a shell company named Akron Holdings, with signatories from both Bill and Vernon. Simultaneously, Detective Cruz, officially off the Vargas case but unable to let it go, meets with a reluctant source from the city's planning department. The source slides a file across the table, approved permits for the waterfront revitalization project, fast-tracked under mayoral authority, with zoning variances that benefit one primary landowner, Sterling Trust. Cruz connects the dots. Vargas was investigating these variances before he died. The cliffhanger: as Haley tucks Liam into bed, her phone pings. It's an anonymous message. Ask your husband about Akron. Ask him who really paid the ransom. The cookie in her hand crumbles to dust. Tuesday, December 23rd. The unraveling. Haley confronts Bill in his study, her voice low and trembling. She shows him the text. Bill's reaction is a masterclass in controlled panic, a flash of sheer terror followed by a wall of practiced indignation. A sick prank, Haley. A disgruntled opponent, he insists, reaching for her. She pulls away. For the first time, she sees not her powerful husband, but a man desperately building a dam against a flood of lies. Across town, Vernon, holed up in a nondescript motel, is finally breaking. He calls Elena, his voice ragged. I can't carry this alone anymore, Ellie. He's going to let me drown. Elena, torn between her family loyalty and her moral compass, agrees to meet him, unaware she's being tailed by Margot. At the Sterling Trust holiday party, the glittering facade is paper-thin. Margot, armed with her findings, corners Bill on the terrace. What is Akron, William? And why is Vernon's signature all over it, tied to your mayoral directives? Bill's mask slips completely with his sister. In a chillingly quiet tone, he warns her, some foundations need to stay buried, Margot. For the good of this family. Walk away. The cliffhanger. Elena arrives at the motel to find Vernon's room trashed and Vernon gone. Only his broken glasses remain on the floor. Her scream echoes down the empty hallway. Wednesday, December 24th. The secret explodes. Christmas Eve dawns bleak and icy. Detective Cruz, now convinced of a high-level cover-up, takes her file to the only person she thinks might have the courage and clout to act. Judge Patricia Wells, a formidable figure with a long, complicated history of both opposing and being aligned with the Sterlings. The evidence is circumstantial but compelling. Financial links between Sterling Trust, the Vargas murder, and the suspicious ransom payment. Back at the Sterling mansion, Haley is searching Bill's study. Using a password she guessed, Liam's birthday, she accesses a hidden digital folder on his computer. What she finds is a devastating dossier, not just the Akron records, but communications showing Bill deliberately directed the kidnappers' initial ransom demand away from the family's liquid assets and toward a specific, traceable offshore fund. A fund he could later claim was hush money for Vernon, framing his brother as the sole culprit. It was never about saving Liam. It was about creating a fall guy and controlling the narrative. Vernon, bruised but alive, staggers into the city police station, not to the major crimes unit, but to the front desk. "I want to confess," he croaks to the bewildered sergeant. "To conspiracy, to fraud, to the cover-up of the Vargas investigation. And I have evidence implicating Mayor William Sterling." The cliffhanger, as the Sterling family, including a shell-shocked Margot and a clueless Liam, sits down for their Christmas Eve dinner, the doorbell rings. Haley answers to see Detective Cruz and 2 federal agents on the steps, their breaths forming clouds in the cold air. Behind her, Bill's fork clatters onto his plate. Thursday, December 25th. Haley storms out. Christmas Day is a waking nightmare. Bill is not arrested on the spot. His lawyers, the best money can buy, have already descended, citing procedural errors and Vernon's unreliable mental state. Bill is released, but the scandal is the lead story on every news channel, casting a pall over the city. The true explosion happens at home. In the grand foyer, surrounded by untouched presents, Haley unleashes a lifetime of suppressed rage and betrayal. "You used our son's terror as a chess move," she screams, her voice echoing off the marble. "You were willing to let your brother rot, to let an investigator die, to bury the truth under more lies, just to protect your throne. What kind of man are you? What kind of father?" Bill tries the only script he knows. Power. "Haley, without me, this family has nothing. That house, that life, Liam's future, it all crumbles." It's the worst thing he could say. Haley looks at him with absolute clarity, all love and illusion finally burned away. "Then let it crumble," she says, her voice now terrifyingly calm. She calls for Liam, who's been watching from the stairs, clutching a toy soldier. She takes his hand, grabs a single pre-packed bag from the closet, she'd prepared it after finding the files, and walks out the door into the falling snow, leaving Bill utterly alone in the cavernous, decorated hall. The cliffhanger, Haley doesn't go to a hotel. She drives directly to Elena's modest apartment. The 2 women, once divided by class and circumstance, share a silent, tearful hug, united by the betrayal of the same man. Meanwhile, Bill, in a rage, smashes the antique nativity scene in the living room. The camera holds on the shattered figure of the patriarch. Friday, December 26th. The aftermath and new alliances. Boxing Day is for picking up the pieces. Margot, devastated but clear-eyed, visits Bill. She delivers an ultimatum. He must resign as mayor and fully cooperate with any investigation, or she will go public with every document she has and vote him out as CEO of Sterling Trust. The family empire is now his final prison. Elena and Haley, in a powerful scene, sit with a quiet Liam, building a new tradition of pancakes and quiet honesty. Haley tells Elena she's filing for divorce and full custody, and she will testify against Bill if needed.